Nope, can't, not letting you get away with that. Laurel is weak. She knows what the challenge is about. She knows what she signs up for. I just think that this higher caliber of women, she's scared. I think she didn't know she would mentally be able to beat them. It's debatable if she was dominating physically. I don't think Laurel had what it takes to get to the
So
final.
how come we're gonna say they lose respect as competitors? We have to put Cara Marie at, the bottom.
You don't, because she didn't quit. That's the main difference. You lose respect for
Well,
people
she
that
did.
quit.
On the digging, she did. She sat there. We watched her. She was like, it's just too hot. And she sat and waited for it to time out.
But at least she didn't quit the whole thing.
You're right.
So as
And
long
can
as
we
you
all
only quit
agree?
half of it, we're good.
This is where I differ. I'm like, if that's an ex, throw their ass in, you know?
I'll subscribe for y'all. I'll take that bullet. I want to see if he shows feet and if they're clean. We gotta get to the bottom of this. She's like, how do you know what OnlyFans
Look-
is?
Looking at the credit card statement next month, OnlyFans. Like, what the all right, speaking
You
of
think he's showing
elimination.
on OnlyFans?
We wanted the smoke, so let's bring the fire. We're igniting the drama and chaos. This is Matches of Mayhem. We are your ride or die hosts, Nora, the Vendetta Queen, Raquel, the Cutthroat Contessa, Victor, the Duel Master, and E-Rock, the Double Agent. Get ready for a reckoning as we dive into the gauntlet of season 40 of the challenge Battle of the Eras.
Yay, we got through it. First time.
It was hard.
Lot to get to this episode, so let's jump into the 1 minute meltdown for the era of the Purge. Alliances are in shambles and the house is on edge. Theo's gone Mr. Softy for Olivia, Rachel is juggling alliances, and Tori and Bananas are in a standoff, but only one is loving Angels instead. During the daily challenge, Doomed, we run, we dig, we paddle, we memorize, and we acknowledge the calculator chief himself, Kylan, who gets the dub. While Tori reps for the girls, and she can just taste that second championship coming oh so soon. Meanwhile, Theo claws back from a 2-minute penalty and sends Zen Nehemiah packing, and Laurel somehow survives the literal threat of torture long enough to quit the competition. She wisps out like a silent fart before we get to say goodbye to them jeans. During deliberation, Tori tries to have a civil conversation about why she wants to backstab her friend Johnny for a second time. But the only question I have is, Johnny, give me that self-care routine, King. Things are tense, but leave it up to Derek and our Jesus is King doppelganger Josh to lighten the mood. In elimination, cramping out, we get a brutal tube squeeze race. It's like getting the toothpaste out of the tube, so hard. But Bananas and Theo go hard, but when it counts, Banana delivers because he's the GOAT. That's your 1 minute meltdown.
All right, nicely
Perfectly
said.
Lovely.
Well, I think there was too much to go over in the challenge to not just jump right in to this mini finale Purge challenge. So we start off right away with watching our, the penalty people kind of sit back while the rest of them start running, and it just goes from there. So what did you guys think of this mini challenge, mini finale, that we got to partake in?
Oh yeah, I liked that. I thought the mini final was, it wasn't the best mini final, but it was a good change of pace to get to see. I just want to say that I am vindicated with my previous thoughts about Laurel, but we can get to that later. But overall, I thought the challenge was good. It was a good balance between endurance, speed, and some mental ability. So I thought it was good overall.
Yeah, I think aside from the digging, which, wasn't my favorite. I think the rest was pretty good. It had the intensity, the heat, the distance, the dunes, the paddle boarding. So the running, it had a good mix of physical, but then that memorization is the great equalizer. I think Derek said it. It's like, as long as there's a puzzle, I'm always in it. And I think Johnny got out to that quick lead. He looked like he was dominating. He's like, nope, the GOAT's going to take this. And then the puzzle took a lot of goats out. Johnny ended up getting fifth after being dominant, and Laurel, my girl, what the fuck, like. But I enjoyed it. Overall, I think it was a good marker for where everybody stands to this point.
A lot of these challengers, they train supposedly to go on these seasons, but no one really trains for heat. So I love when there's something that could potentially throw them off that they haven't necessarily prepared for. And it shows like how adaptable you are, like how strong is your mindset. So this whole thing with Laurel really sucks. I feel like I'm not a fan of Laurel, but I feel like as a viewer, it's like you made me waste 2 episodes for what? It's like I could have seen other storylines that would have been 10 times better than you getting, butthurt over Cara Maria. For what? So you can just get a little hot and just like quit?
Hey. It's literally torture that they're doing out there, and she doesn't want to be tortured. Literally. Go in.
It was dumb. It was so dumb. And I didn't respect her before, but like really now she's in the negative.
You didn't respect her game?
No, I didn't. And I get it. She was, people were super intimidated by her, and if only she really knew how scared people were of her to go against her, maybe she could have felt empowered to like power through this. This isn't, $20,000. This is $1 million on the line. You can't just take a little heat.
Is that gone? Is that gone now, guys? That people are scared of Laurel?
Look, I said it before and I'll say it again. Laurel is overhyped. The age of an era of Laurel is long past. She doesn't have... she's obviously still a physical threat. You don't want to see her in a physical elimination. But anything other than that, she has nothing. She doesn't have the endurance. She doesn't have the mental fortitude. She doesn't have the mental abilities like to do puzzles. So, she's good for physical eliminations or physical, challenges. But after that, she has nothing else. So, coming into this, I never saw her as a challenge. I knew she wasn't going to win unless people were just too scared to take her out. But I think there's much better overall women now in the challenge, especially since she hasn't been around for a while. I don't think she's also as physically fit as a lot of the other, competitors there, both men and women. I think she probably was banking on the fact that, she's a champion and she's a threat, that people would be scared to go against her, and which did work for a little while, but it only could get you so far. And I think this is where she checks out. So, good riddance, Laurel.
Good riddance.
I have a little bit of a different opinion. I think if Laurel wanted it, she would be as good as she was. Maybe not as physically fit, but we don't really see her struggling too much with the physical. It was the puzzle. We've seen her still. In the first episode, she dominated physically. She was the first. She beat all the men and women. I think we got to see something that kind of made sense, and maybe producers put it in this episode so we can kind of see that, she went to school to become a veterinarian? Was that what they were saying in there? So she has a whole life outside of this, that this is just now a little piece of her life, whereas before I think the challenge was her life. Winning and competing while she went to school, and I really think it was, to me, it sucks because it's like, come on, Laurel, you're this big competitor to just give up on the puzzle. But I think she just didn't care. And I think Nehemiah said it best, is once she makes up her mind, she doesn't care anymore. It's going to be that. But physically, she was doing the physical stuff. That wasn't an issue for her. It was just, she got hot and she didn't want to do it anymore. And I think in her head, she's like, why the hell am I doing this? I have a job. I have a life. I'm educated. I can leave this, not win, and still go home and make money.
Nope. Not letting you get away with that. Laurel is weak. And if she really wanted to, she knows what the challenge is about. She knows what she signs up for. Yeah. If she comes here, she knows, all right, I'm here to compete. And that's it. Like, whatever she had going back in life, she knows this is separate from that. And I just think that this higher caliber of women, she's scared. I think she didn't know she would mentally be able to beat them. Physically, yeah, sure, she could probably beat them, but it's not just a physical game. And it's debatable if she was dominating physically because it was running. We only see them running for short amount of time, but I don't think Laurel had what it takes to get to the
So
final.
how come none of the men could beat her in the first episode? How come she
That's the
beat
first
everybody?
one. It's
I mean, they
more than one
weren't in
challenge.
110 degrees in the desert digging up nonsense. I think, the challenge, this is not the first like extreme environmental conditions that they've been in. I think that she really wanted to take control of the narrative, and she didn't want to, seem like, oh, I lost. She wanted to control the narrative at the end of the day, and she knew what she was getting into, I feel like, and she couldn't take the heat. She just literally and figuratively, like, she couldn't take it. And I think it's unfortunate because she could have made it really far, but I don't know, she just didn't have it. She didn't have it.
It's unfortunate because, like Victor said, the mental part of the game is a part of it. And if you're checked out and you can't hang with that part of the game, it does affect your reputation as a competitor. I mean, we talked about it last week about Johnny trying to rattle everybody's cages. You having to go out there and perform in the worst of conditions is part of keeping your head in the game. And whether it's because she doesn't find it worth it because she has a life outside of this, or whether she just couldn't get it done, she checked out in that moment. And the one thing that it got me thinking is I really got to question All Stars 4 now. I got to question that because in the moment when I watched All Stars 4, I was like, this final is bullshit. This final is like a weak final. And Laurel dominated and she came out on top, and I was just like, well, Laurel's doing just what Laurel does. But now I'm like, damn, that final's a little bit tainted. And we all know that the All-Star finals and the All-Star seasons aren't as challenging, but she had no issues with that final. I was just like, well, is Laurel doing Laurel things? But now I gotta question it. And I also have to question Cara a little bit for coming in second in that, but that's a different story. I can't talk shit because she's still in the game. She got it done today. So
But
Cara's
she couldn't
been
even dig something out of the sand. So if we're gonna say they lose respect as competitors, we have to put Cara Marie at, the bottom. Look at the girls that could dig stuff up.
You don't, because she didn't quit. That's the main
Yeah, I was gonna
difference.
say,
You
it's
lose
a
respect for
different
people
She
that
did.
quit.
On the digging, she did. She sat there. We watched her. She was like, it's just too hot. And she sat and waited for it to time out because she knew there were other girls she could try to compete later on. But she did quit that part. She sat there.
So,
she literally
losing-
sat and we
quitting-
watched her.
I think that was more of a strategic, like something along the lines of her strategy versus this is fucking hell. I'm over it. I'm done. I want to go home. Like there's a difference there.
That's riding the fence, though. It's like my strategy is gonna be I'm not gonna be the worst loser, but I'm still gonna be the loser here.
It's something. It's not
It was
like let me just
conserving
go
your
home.
energy, knowing that
It
there's
was
still other parts.
self-preservation.
You gotta save your energy because there's other parts. You know you're not digging this. Every time you do your little squirrel hands, the sand keeps coming back in. So she's like, you know what? Let me just save my energy and make it up in the long run. But at least she didn't quit the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's
No,
that's
you're
the whole
right.
point.
You're right.
So as
And
long
can
as
we
you
all
only quit
agree-
half of it, we're good. So only half
There's
of it.
there's a difference. It's called a
There's still
strategic retreat.
A
Strategic
retreat.
quitter.
Yes. You strategically
Self-preservation.
retreat.
I really
Wait, can
enjoy
we
this,
all
and
agree before you go on? Can we all agree Laurel complaining about the heat, it's too hot? Yes, we all know it's too hot, but it was a cop out because she was scared of the other women. Can we all agree on that?
I think it's a little bit more complex. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Scared,
yes. I
yeah.
think she was worried she wouldn't beat maybe some of the girls in the end. Like I feel like Rachel is truly a competitor, and she can see that would be a very hard. But I think it really is when we see Laurel, she is in her head more than anything. So when it got to the point where she was like, "This isn't worth it," she was done. I don't care, whatever.
Yeah.
But I do think that was a little bit of a facade for her to say, she lost. She was last.
Yeah.
But for her to be like, I don't even care. This is torture. Whatever. I don't feel like continuing is like, well, you weren't going to continue anyway because you lost. You didn't fucking do it. So stop saying like I'm done. Like, no, the challenge told you you're done. So scared is like, I don't know. It's like, I don't
think she. Yeah, I agree with Vic.
I think she realized her limitation.
Exactly. I don't think she was necessarily scared that, somebody else is going to beat her. I think she's just not well at adapting to her surroundings. Like, we see that with her relationships with people in the house, and we clearly see that in the challenges that like the way that she competes. She doesn't adapt very well. And if she can't control her own narrative, it's frustrating and she quits.
Well, I think she was terrified that somebody would beat her and take over the top girl status, because that's what she had, right? We all said it. Laura's the top girl. I think she was terrified that somebody might beat her, whether it's Cara Maria, Rachel, Tori. I think she was scared, terrified, and this was her cop out. Can we remove her off the Mount Rushmore then? At least, can we do that? Can we remove her?
No,
I want to see. I want to see who wins this. I want to see who wins this year, because if Tori or Rachel wins, I think, if Rachel wins, that might be like the biggest distance between wins anybody's ever had.
Yeah.
Because she won a while ago, and then she took a break. She started coming back on All Stars, and now she's back on Maine, and that'll be crazy. And then for Tori, now she's a multi-time champ, which is different. So yeah, I want to see who wins this year. I'm giving away a little bit of who I think is like at the halfway point, top dogs, but
it's definitely Rachel. We know this.
As far as scared, I do got to give you some props there, because we saw it in All Stars 4 where Laurel swore up and down to Kill a Cam, I will go in. I will volunteer to go in and get that gold star if Cara is the one down there. And then she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a huge dent in that kind of, in the legacy there. The way she went out this season. And I'm disappointed the most because I drafted her as my top player. We was wrong. Is what it is.
What I'm curious about, and I don't know if anyone knows this, what are the temperatures in Vietnam? Like what?
That's what I asked Eric. Yeah, definitely. He said at least 100, but that's a good thing that we could look into.
They've said it on the challenge. Yeah.
We have construction workers out in our part of Texas who work sunrise to sundown in the sun in 110 degrees. It feels like 120 all summer long here. I mean, we're still pushing 80s and it's, November. I don't know. You telling me like one of these construction workers can go out there and whoop all these challengers' asses because it's the heat is taking them out? Like the heat is what is mentally breaking them? Like I would think. I don't know. I mean, I know they don't know exactly where they're going, but some of your training, you would think you would try to, what if it was the freezing cold? It's the same thing. I would think you want to train in some way and somehow, and I don't know, but it's kind of like football players when they're going to go play at arenas that are open, they start prepping all their practices and stuff like, okay, let's be prepared. We're going to go from a warm to hot, and I would think as competitors, that would be something part of their training is to train.
I don't think that they look into temperatures that deep. I think like they don't run on a treadmill in a sauna. I think also
I don't know.
Globally, the temperatures have been so incredibly hot. I don't think that it's easy to predict how hot it's going to be.
I think we're seeing the flourish of a new star in Kyland, just bossing everything they throw at him. Oh, you want me to memorize challenges under a coconut? I'll do that. You want me to run up this dune and outrun Jordan, who's on my heels? I'll do that. It's just like, Yeah, a lot of it is physical, but part of it is if you got the mentality that I'm gonna do this no matter what, they get it done. And I gotta put a little respect on Colin's name because a few weeks ago, I played him when he's like, "I'm ready to die for this," and I was just like, "You're not that guy yet, bro." I'm eating
Yes,
crow
he is.
right now.
Yeah.
I'm eating crow. What do you guys think? Like, it's like,
Well, so are we going into the top? 'Cause
Let's do
I
that.
feel like I think we're already touching on a lot of them already. So
we're halfway through. So who would you guys put as your top 3 top dogs, men and women right now?
men,
I
I
don't
would
think
go
there's
Kyler
3
number
top
1.
women.
Damn.
There's not.
You wait, what? There's not
There's just Rachel.
Tori, Rachel.
Tori and Rachel.
Tori and Rachel.
We learned Jenny is not going to be one of them. She was
Yeah, my girl Jenny.
she got
Struggling.
3rd place.
yeah, but she
know
could
what?
barely run. I mean, Rachel said it. She can't
She-
go
no.
more than 50.
That's not true. She has a little asthma. Like, she doesn't train in the heat. So
I think you're right in that she's the distant third, but I mean you would assume it was Cara, but
I wouldn't even put. I'd put if a healthy Aviv over a Jenny.
ooh,
Honestly,
I mean,
if her plantar fasciitis or whatever it's called wasn't acting up, she'd be tearing it up.
maybe. I think Aviv has shown some skills. I think she's good at certain things. I don't know if she's as well rounded. Like if it's physical or something where you have to pull people up, she's cooked. So it's tough. She shows out on the things that are made better for her.
But in a final, I think. We won't know until she gets there. But in a final setting, I think she would do extremely well because the final is more about
What happened
endurance,
today?
Speed. Well, her plantar fasciitis acting up. You know.
Yeah,
If
that
she was
stopped her
healthy, I
from
said
doing
if
the puzzle.
She was healthy. Well, it's hurting. You're like, my foot. So I think if she was healthy, maybe it would have been a little better. But that's what I said. If she was healthy, right now she's not in top 3.
I think we gotta
Tori
put
and Rachel.
and then
Rachel
Jenny a distant third. If we had to choose a third,
Yeah.
there's a distant.
Jenny doesn't impress me.
She's won challenges and she's won eliminations.
All right.
You want to do Michelle, who's won 2
oh
eliminations?
God, no. First
That's
of
what
all,
I thought.
can we, when we get to the fashion segment, can we talk about this like weird jean corset thing that's lace? What is
All right.
happening?
Top dogs on the guy side so far this season. I mean,
Oh, Jordan.
is Kyland 1
Kylan's
I would
one.
say so. Yeah.
He's
and
one
Jordan's
two.
2? So who's 3? Is it Johnny?
Bananas. Yeah.
He hasn't won a challenge yet.
Why is
But,
it
like-
Johnny? Is it just off of reputation? He's won
He's
2
won-
challenges.
It's not-
He's won 2 eliminations, right?
2 eliminations.
It's Johnny because strategically, in those
Mm.
crazy settings, even when he's stressed out and when they're in those big competing moments, a lot of times Johnny has that ability to slow everything down and make very calculated moves when other people fold under the pressure. He doesn't. So that's why I think even if he hasn't won yet, when it gets to the finale and he's up against all these other competitors, he'll be able, usually, we saw him struggle with the puzzle part of this one, kind of, losing it. And I'm sure, like, they keep saying it's the heat. But typically, he's pretty calculated with stuff where he can slow everything down and kind of make those very strategic moves. That's why I would still put him in a top 3 position.
No, I do feel like Finals Banana is a different beast than regular, challenge Johnny. It's like, Mello, he got the hoodie on, he's hoodie Mello, or you got, playoff Rondo, or you got, I think when he's in the challenge, like in the finals, he's completely different. He's locked in, he's focused, like all his stats get an extra 30% boost. But for now, I would say I'd probably give him 3rd.
Well, then
Yeah.
can I make a case for Josh? No, just kidding.
No.
Corey.
Hell,
Corey,
you can't make.
he's won just as many eliminations as Johnny, and now he doesn't have the heat on him. Johnny does. So he went from
But
a
this-
guy who had no connections to now he's lying low. He said it this episode was like, I'm good. Johnny's catching all the flack, all the heat. How did he not get a target last episode from, I guess it was Michelle who gave the targets out, and he steered clear. He's kind of keeping a low profile. So, and he got third today. He beat Johnny today. No, we're not buying it.
No, I'm not buying it because there's more to the challenge than like physical endurance and mental. It's also like, how do you play the game? I think Corey's still learning, and he's been on many challenges, but this goes back to Nora's point. Like, Bananas has a clear strategy. Corey is still trying to figure it out. So I think it's for Corey, it's luck, versus Bananas, it's intentionality and strategy. And there's a difference.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. So, all right. So we'll give Johnny the edge there. I do think we can't give him higher than third because while he is excelling, maybe if we could say at this game, he's not in control. So
I think
I
third's
disagree.
fair.
I disagree,
Ooh,
but
okay.
okay, we'll get to that.
you think he's in control? Okay. He just went into elimination.
Yeah.
I think he would prefer not to, but
I mean, whether the control is in his favor or not, I think he's controlling his narrative, and I'm all for that.
I think we're all in agreement. But we'll see what's coming next because
Yeah. Deliberation kicks in. It's an interesting one. I mean, there's not much deliberating, but there is a whole show. We get a show. I didn't know we were going to get such a beautiful show. So what did you guys think of our lovely Bananas through this whole thing?
was that self-care routine. I see, like, you clip and then you file, you pluck, or do you shave those eyebrows, or do you wax? And maybe you're not at your waxer, like Bananas. You gotta, like, we saw a little bit of filler today when he was smiling. It was like, man, not a wrinkle in sight. Like, look, keeping it. Where's the fountain of youth, Bananas? Shit, you gotta share. Is it banana peels? Do you just like? Is that why they call you Bananas and you get the banana peel oil or something? You gotta let us know. No, that was hilarious. That was what else? What else can you do? You can't even get mad at him. He's just like, we know he's going in. Like, let's make a show out of it.
God, when he blew his toenails at Tori, I almost lost it.
Yo.
Oh, that was hilarious. It was a show, like you said. It was a spectacle. He knew he was going in. Why waste everybody's time? But then he said, you know what? I am going to waste everybody's time. I'm gonna clip my toenails. I'm going to do what I got to do. Save some time while I'm in here. Very banana-esque move.
I very much enjoyed watching Jordan's face the whole time, trying not to laugh, to like feed into it, to piss off Tori. But he was dying to laugh. And then Theo's just smiling, looking back and forth, like... And Kylan was just laughing the whole time.
A couple of hilarious lines from there. First off, Jordan being like, I don't envy you guys. It's a tough decision. Like, shut up, dude.
Like, how does that help anything? Like, shut up.
The former love of your life, who still obviously has complicated feelings for you, is not voting you in. Like just...
See, well, maybe this is where I differ. I'm like, if that's an ex, throw their ass in. You know, it's like you're not together anymore, so you could throw him in, and it'd be, he's an ex.
That isn't. I mean, there's no animosity. Like, if it's like a mutual parting of ways.
There was like little ribbing at Jordan, like where Tori was like, I don't know, you can't assume that it's not going to be him,
which is bullshit.
But he still felt some type of way. He was a little bit bothered. He walked where Theo was like, oh, you're going to give me who I want. He walks into the room like, try it. I dare you. But he knows he's not going in. But he still felt a little type of way.
Did you guys get a sense that like Tori was seeking some kind of closure or some conversation, apology, resolution with Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't going to change the outcome.
So, like, what is she looking for then? Because that's why I made the reference earlier. Is like, let's talk this out, but I'm still voting you in. I didn't get it. Why are you upset Tori when you know you're voting him in, and you kind of started this, like his beef was with Devin, and you took on
Ride
that
or
beef.
die.
What is the conflict there that she wants to resolve?
She's one of
Tori's
people
one of the
that she
boys.
wants to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
She wants to be one of the boys. How could one of the
Yes.
guys in the house not like her? She's one of them.
Say more.
And
Say more, because like
It's she
Would
thinks
Johnny
she's
let
buddy
that
with all
slide
the
with it?
boys. No, but she thinks she is one of the boys. And come on, my guy, we're good, right? It's cool. It's cool. We squash it because that's how guys are. And she thinks I'm one of the boys. That's why there's no issues with Jordan. That's my guy. That's my. That's how she treats all the guys. She wants to be one of the guys. She wants to be liked like them. She wants to be the in crowd with them. When in reality, I don't think very many of them see her as like their first and foremost. Physically, maybe because she can, she's pretty physical. But in real life or like actual friendship, I think a lot of the guys are closer to each other than they are with her. But I think in her head, she thinks she has this like unbreakable bond with all of them.
I disagree a little bit with that, because I was riding with you in that Johnny sees that shit too. Because then now it makes a lot of sense. Like last episode when Johnny said, "Tori, what other guy in here is gonna vote you in other than me?"
exactly.
And I think there was a little bit of Josh looking around and Corey looking around. It's like, you know what? Like, yeah, Theo was like, yeah, I wasn't targeting Tori, but you're right. Does she have my back? Like, I think that's the seed Johnny was trying to plant. So I do think some of the guys are just like, yeah, no, Tori's cool. I'm cool with her. Like, not like best friends, but it's just like, no, Tori's cool.
Yeah.
But don't take that for granted. I think that's what Johnny's trying to say, is like, don't take that to heart. Tori has her clear number ones. It was Devin and Jordan. So that's the only thing, is like where he's like, she's not part of the guys. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe the other guys do think she's like, Tori's cool. Yeah, no, she's cool. And maybe you shouldn't be taking that to heart. Right?
I got a interesting dilemma for you guys. Tori, if she had to pick between Devin and Jordan to go into elimination, who would she choose? Who do you think she would choose?
Jordan.
Devin.
Hands
Ooh,
down.
to go in?
Yeah.
Raquel
To
was
go in,
Okay.
Jordan. Yeah, to go in.
Jordan.
Wow. Okay. Nora?
Do we
Nora?
still
Devin?
think that? Well, I would normally say 100% Jordan, but now that Devin has, if he was still there with Michelle, would that change it? And that's, I don't know. I would need to see that dynamic, because Devin would take Michelle. I think
would
he
he?
would.
I don't think so.
He would. I think
I
Devin
think he would
There-
drop Michelle in a heartbeat.
See,
The
I
only
don't-
reason I say is they got each other's back is they won together. And they won together on Ride or Dies. And I think out of all the Ride or Dies, because some were a little fraudulent, they really took that to heart. And they're like, nah. Devin always said, number one girl, that's it. And even though her and Jordan, Tori and Jordan were ex-fiancés now, and they still got some love for each other, I still think like, nah, me and Devin did the thing together. Like we got our first championships
Yeah.
together.
It's a bond.
So I do
Yeah.
think, I think that wins out a little bit over Jordan. And I think also Jordan wouldn't take that the wrong way, and Devin would. I think
Yeah.
if she voted Devin in, he'd be bitching like, whoa, you were number one. And Jordan would be like, I get it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to come back anyway. So I think that softens the blow a little bit.
Yeah. Overall, I think that like it's clear throughout the episode that she's looking for this conversation with Johnny to like resolve something, and I feel like inadvertently she is fueling his game, because Bananas thrives on emotional tension. So I think in the long run, it's something that could like come back and bite her in the ass. Her vulnerability and her like seeking this resolution I feel like Johnny's going to use that to his advantage eventually. And Bananas doesn't do apologies. He is here to win. He does strategy. He does emotional manipulation. He does all of that. And for him, loyalty shifts based on who gets him closer to the finale. And that has always been his strategy. So like the blowing of the toenails to her face and clipping his nails, it's just regaining, it's just him sort of cementing his power to me.
Nor where you're right, where she doesn't really get it, is just like, okay, Devin and Bananas are going at it. All right, them two got beef, but I'm cool with both of them. I'm not getting in between. And Tori did. Tori got in between, and that's the difference. It's just like you let dudes just hash it out, battle it out, and once, you know, using an analogy, once they throw a few punches, and then they're like, all right, we're cool. We got that aggression out. You let it go. But she's taking on Devin's beef, and it's just like, don't do that. Let it go. Like, they had their thing. Let it go. Now it's not like, oh, we're cool. No, we're not. You threw me in twice now because of what some other dude said.
One of the things that, moving forward from that, is Cara makes a little comment about Johnny, calling him Little Miss Tinkerbell. And I think, with that being said, Eric, I will let you take over the next segment here.
I think that was brilliant by Cara. She has a habit of making everything about her. Once in a while, when she looks outward, when Cara is not talking about herself, she says something brilliant. And Johnny is Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell is possessive. Tinkerbell is feisty. Tinkerbell can hold a grudge. But at the end of the day, who doesn't love Tinkerbell? It's a great Disney character. So I want to go over some of our challenge cast members and say who are they as Disney princesses / characters. Not all of these are princesses, but most of them are. So let's start with Tori, the aforementioned Tori. Who would we assign her?
I had a good one. I lost it. Ooh,
I will
Mulan.
say, let's see if that character makes a return. Not Mulan here, though.
She's not Mulan.
I will say the hint is we talked about Tori last week for a specific reason, and I kind of carried it over to this topic.
Elsa.
What was her?
Not Elsa.
No, she's not an ice queen. She's not a sleeping beauty.
Was
we
she good fight?
She's
We played her a little bit last episode because of her hair.
Oh, what about
dirty
Rapunzel?
hair. Tangled. Yeah, Rapunzel. Is that?
Yes. If she's gonna give us hair that looks like it's been dragged on the floors of a castle, we're gonna
That's
have
fair.
to give her
That's
Rapunzel.
wild.
Yeah.
It's also long. We said it's thick,
Yeah.
and Rapunzel's got some spunk to her.
Yeah, she was fighting.
Yeah.
She was fighting in there. She was
I actually saw
fighting.
it for the first time like a month ago. So
Wow.
Yeah, what's the guy? Flynn. She was showing Flynn some hands. If we say Jordan is Flynn, I'm sure they had their entanglements. No pun intended. And so I think Tori as Rapunzel works. Plus they're blondes, so that's pretty easy. Similar, kind of in a similar sense, Olivia. I think this is a little bit obvious, but sometimes you just gotta go obvious. Who do we think Olivia is as a Disney princess?
Oh, I would have said like
Belle?
Sleeping Beauty, because she doesn't really do anything. I feel like all we see her is just laying in the bed, like kind of. Yeah.
Lady of Leisure.
Yeah, Lady of
Yeah,
Leisure,
man.
Sleeping Beauty, waiting for
And she's
Theo
got-
to come kiss her awake. You know,
That's-
that's what I would think.
That's the only thing. She's not surrounded by dwarves. So
Yeah.
What about
Horacio,
Belle?
Theo,
Or no,
Belle,
isn't it
but who's
Belle?
her beast? Theo's not
Theo.
exactly a
Yeah, you
beast.
get a beast in the elimination.
No.
Except this last one. Okay.
So
No. I know.
Well,
Let's
He
not
was
do
for a
that.
while.
He was beast in that. We'll get there. But all right, let's just come on. The hair when she goes full.
I don't know. Thinking red, right? Red hair.
Oh,
I was trying to think
Ariel.
who had red hair.
There
Little
you go.
Mermaid.
Ah,
Little
okay.
Mermaid.
Ariel.
Yeah.
But it goes deeper than that. She wants to be part of your world. She wants to be this champion. And so sometimes she's going to sell herself out to Ursula.
That's true.
So I think Olivia's still a little, I think she's a little innocent and selling herself out to Ursula, a.k.a. Jay. And to get that be part of that champion world. So,
Okay.
okay, Rachel, this was the one that I was saving Victor for.
Mulan.
Yeah.
Mulan.
Okay.
She's
and-
1,000%.
Yeah.
Because
If
she
you
could kick
put-
butt with the boys. Yeah.
I could see that.
Let's hide her in that army, and nobody will know the difference. She'll kick ass. Rachel is definitely Mulan. Laurel, not a princess. That's the hint.
Fiona,
No.
old school.
God, why am I want to call her like the Hunchback? But she's not Hunchback. It's just something.
Hey.
Wow, Nora.
That's keeps
wrong.
like her grumpy ass
wrong.
attitude. She's not
That's
Hunchback,
wrong.
but she grumpy ass attitude. That's
Okay.
what makes me think of like.
I gave
No.
Laurel
Wait, give us one more clue.
the Wicked Queen, where she's looking in the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fiercest female challenger of them all? And the mirror is looking back at her like, not you anymore, woman. Not you.
I like that.
She
I
can't
like
take it.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, Kara, I couldn't actually place her. I don't have one for Kara. So maybe we can give her one here.
Okay.
Well, it's not as popular, and I guess but that's kind of because the red hair. I'm thinking of Descendants Red, and she's kind of spunky, like in Descent. But unless you watch Descendants, people wouldn't really know that character.
Descendants. I don't know that one, but the
I don't think I've
one
watched it yet.
Brave. There's
Oh,
Brave,
Brave,
also.
yeah.
What
That
about
actually, because Brave loves animals, she loves. So yeah, that would be a good Kara one.
what about Sleeping Beauty? Because it ties back to the Wicked Witch and Laurel being afraid of Kara in a sense.
I don't think it matches.
Okay, just throwing it
It's
out
tough.
there.
It's got to be someone who's a little offbeat. I think that's why
Actually-
Brave works. Like,
You can't just say the
Actually,
red
Brave-
hair, red girl, and then
No.
that's
Okay,
why
hold
they match
on.
up.
No, but their personalities. But who she matches better is Elsa, because she is very introverted. She wants to be alone because she struggles to
my
make
God.
friends. So she would be an
Yes.
Elsa.
I actually originally gave Laurel Elsa and Kara Anna because
Yeah.
Elsa wants to keep Anna at her arm's length and is like, I don't want to be close to you, but you guys are close. And Anna's so annoying. She was like, no, come on, let's build a snowman, let's do this. And she's like, shut the fuck up. And then she finds
What
her.
does Olaf have to do with this?
She
Don't
finds-
bring him into this.
Oh,
that
she finds her Polly. Polly's definitely Sven, like right. That's his name with the moose.
It is.
Yeah.
Is okay. So Laurel's still the Wicked Witch though, but Kara, maybe Anna. I think Anna does work. The annoying, spunky younger one who just wants the acceptance.
That's fair.
Okay.
And then,
So then, would we place Josh as Olaf?
No, he'd be the donkey from Shrek.
no,
Or he'd be Shrek. He'd be
I was
Shrek,
gonna say Victor
actually.
already gave him.
He'd be
You,
Shrek. Yeah, 100%.
he's
Shrek.
Josh's Shrek.
1,000,000%.
By looks only because he's not as.
No, but he doesn't have.
But
No,
Shrek
because
isn't like
Shrek
that.
was mean. He's so
Yeah.
mean. Like,
And he had a
Josh
lot
is
of
not.
friends.
He's like donkey.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
He's-
Donkey from
He's
Shrek.
very
Or-
donkeyish.
Shrek.
And so that makes Michelle Fiona.
I mean,
Take a look at her at night at that elimination, and she's like, your game is against mine. I'm not gonna turn into a princess if you keep rooting against me.
Stop.
I'm just
Yeah.
sick of it.
I can't even. They make that. I can't even. No, not today.
Oh my god.
Who's the Lord Farquaad of the challenge?
Ooh.
No, Josh is too big. Josh is too.
It
big.
would
Who's-
be.
Don't play TJ. I don't want to hear TJ.
No,
We could
it's
never.
not TJ.
TJ's
Nah, I said
100%
don't play
Prince
him.
Charming.
Don't play him.
It's Josh
Yeah.
because he wants to. You know,
No.
be-
Josh is too tall.
But I'm not talking about just looks.
But he
I'm
does-
talking about.
Head shape. They do go.
Devin.
Devin is 100% Lord
Devin?
Farquaad.
Devin? Yeah.
Devin is 100%. He's coming with that Shore King energy, like just like I'm the best. I won a championship. I should get the princess. And meanwhile, you're going after Fiona, aka Michelle.
Yeah, I see
Wow!
that. Yeah,
Wow!
big brain,
There you go.
Big brain.
So that's our Disney characters / princesses. Thanks to Cara Maria, aka Brave, or Anna, whoever you are.
Wherever you are.
For that inspo there.
With that being said, now that we got our princesses and Shrek out of the way, I wanted to ask this question, and this leads me to our fashion segment.
See Devin and CT, it looks so hot.
And we see them going out for the night. Then we see them going to elimination. Who would you say is one female and one male that takes the absolute longest to get ready? Like they're all waiting at the bus to leave and that person's still inside.
Definitely Olivia and Corey, because
Yeah.
you cannot. I am a curly hair girl. You cannot get those curls so perfect in 30 minutes. First of all, you got to section your hair before you shampoo. You got to detangle, the leave-in, the deep conditioner. Then you got to do your LOC method or LCO method, depending on if your hair is high porosity or low porosity. It's a whole fucking thing. So, and then Olivia got it.
Wait,
over
that was
here.
for Corey?
Yeah.
That was for Corey. Curly hair takes forever.
Oh
Remember,
my gosh.
Olivia
Just to
is
put it
just
under a
like-
cowboy hat or beanie.
Exactly.
But his
know.
curls always look perfectly curled. They're not, combed out. They're not, the humidity hasn't hit them. So that's fresh curls. That's not like 2-3 day old
Fresh.
curls that he's refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
He's making them fresh each day, which is like way better than I could ever do. Because I leave my hair when it's curly and I don't comb it like straight like this to bun it. I leave it dirty for 3-4 days trying to redo the curls because it's a long time. It takes a long time.
It does.
I'm gonna pivot a little bit. I think Kylan's curls are immaculate. I'm sure he's taken his time and he's very precise and he's very meticulous. So I think Kylan's is, but I don't think he's late. I think he legit's like, well, guys, I'll see you in 2 hours before we go out, and I'm gonna go get
Yeah.
started. So I think but he's definitely taken a while, and for some reason, I just think Cara's whole getup, just like her whole style, just like dyeing. We saw her dyeing her hair once, and I wonder how often she has to do that. Because at least for me, it doesn't. I haven't noticed that like the red isn't reaching the scalp like every time. So it seems like she's doing it consistently. So her pirate, you would have thought pirates are not a low maintenance, but it
Not
doesn't
that
seem
one.
like it.
I'll tell you one thing. It's extensions. You can just clip them on and be on your way, honey.
But we saw her dyeing her hair earlier.
2 sections.
Oh, okay.
There were 2 sections at the top. And then what happened to the back?
Why you
This
gotta
whole
point out my
world.
ignorance here? You know I'm
This whole
ignorant on
world
that
is
shit. I
crumbling
haven't had to
before
worry
him.
about. I dyed my hair once in the 8th grade, and then that was it. I never had the chance again. A full Eminem. Victor, you remember that? You made fun of me.
Yeah, I did. Wait, were you? I don't know if it was in 5th grade. Were you around when I did a speech as George Washington at all, or no?
I need photos.
Yes.
I need photos.
What
Yes.
happened? No. This,
He powdered his hair white.
Okay.
He powdered his hair white so he can be George Washington and give a speech.
Oh my god.
What baby powder? What did you use?
No, oh my god. The funny part wasn't even baby pounded. It was pounded yellow from my mom.
Shut up.
I just took some from her kitchen.
I forgot about that.
I was just like, all right, guys, I'll be right back. Just
oh my God.
Did
Stop.
sister know? Did sister know you
No, I
did
don't
that
think she-
and
I
went
don't
to
think-
school?
no. No, I did it like at school. I didn't like have it on the whole day.
I think I would beat your ass. I feel like.
Nah, she would not let me. What? I would have got destroyed on the bus on the way to school.
I think you need to reenact that. I want to see this.
I'm good. I'm good.
No, now is the time to fucking reenact George Washington. Do it right now.
I can't. We don't have pounded yam, nor does it have any. Sorry, guys.
The American people need you right now. We need Mr. Washington. Please, we need you.
What
I
does
definitely have.
Here comes the general. Oh my gosh.
Wait, what was this? I'm curious. Like, what did you say? Like, the gist of it.
I think it was
What
like
did
a
the teacher
speech or-
say?
I don't remember, honestly.
The teachers love Victor. They let him go with his antics.
Were you just like, Juneteenth, federal holiday?
You
Like,
think
what
George
did you-
Washington and his Mr. Tobacco Farmer was rooting for Juneteenth?
I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know.
I'll tell you, Mr. Wooden Teeth and all was like, nah, no Juneteenth.
Oh my God. Wait, this was in CI?
Yeah.
Don't tell people where we're from. So who
I
do you
do
guys
think
think took the
Corey.
longest?
I think Corey, outside of Victor's George Washington, I think Corey definitely has to be mainly his outfit, not even outside of self-care routine. Just like an elimination at this one, what he was wearing, you know that man stood in the mirror over and over like, cowboy hat? No cowboy hat. Jordan, what do you think? Cowboy hat? No okay, hold on. Johnny, what are you thinking? Cowboy hat? No cowboy hat. Corey is definitely one of those. Like needing everybody's like input on his, like his flow, his style. So I definitely think him. And Kara's a good one too. She does wear quite a bit of makeup.
So you think they're out here swapping fits? You think Corey's like, Jordan, you gonna wear the cowboy hat, or you think I could rock this week? And he's like, ooh boy, go ahead. It looks good on you. Why don't you rock that?
For sure.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, if Kara and Polly can alternate shirts, why can't, Jordan and Corey? There's nothing wrong with it.
Does Corey know that where that hat's been? That has been on the tippy toes of Jordan at the club.
He was sitting right
probably
there.
doesn't.
He should have. He probably didn't pay
yeah.
attention, but he was sitting right there. You should be watching where that hat goes. Whose little crusty toes have been sitting in it.
And Jordan don't look like he washes his feet, man. Like he loves the dirt in his feet. He loves to feel it between his crevices.
What?
I can see it.
You
He'd
think
like to
he
be
has
on
a
the
foot
field.
thing? Oh,
I didn't say all that. I'm just saying I think he likes his feet to be on the ground. And
And
he
he-
likes the
Grounded.
soil in between his toes.
Anybody been on his OnlyFans? Does he show feet there? I'll subscribe for y'all. I'll take that bullet. I want to see if he shows feet and if they're clean. We gotta get to the bottom of this.
all
Raquel
right.
is
Well,
not happy with her.
I have no comment.
She's like, how do you know what OnlyFans
Look-
is?
looking at the credit card statement next month. OnlyFans. Like, what the fuck?
Like 20
It's like-
rows. It's like,
Who's Jay Wisely though?
oh, shit.
All right. Speaking
You
of
think he's showing
elimination,
dick on OnlyFans?
What?
What?
Wait, no, stop.
So speaking of eliminations, let's get right into this because we have Mr. Banana himself going against Theo. And this is an interesting game. I kind of enjoyed this one. It's over under cards, and then it's these poles that are going to block them from climbing through. So what are your guys' thoughts on how this one went and how the guys handled, their strategy with the poles?
Before
Sounded
we get
dirty.
into that strategy with
Sounded-
the poles, it's fine.
You know, Theo broke it down in his OnlyFans this week. The strategy with the polls and which. I loved it.
Shit.
I love not the OnlyFans. I love the elimination. Like it was like it came down to seconds. It was not gruesome. It was grueling. Like they really battled. And Theo definitely was an underdog because of the nature of the elimination, but he showed out. He showed why, Victor, you said when his back's up against the wall, he could be one of the best challengers. He just went up against the GOAT today, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but let's also appreciate the full banana moon at the very beginning where he gave Tori when he walked down and just gave Tori a whole moon. You know, she has a crescent moon on her shirt, so he was just giving her the rest of the moon. And gotta appreciate
TJ loved
Johnny
it too. TJ was laughing so hard at that one.
TJ finding Johnny hilarious no matter what is one of the most endearing things because it tells you TJ likes a good mooning just like the rest of us. Like he finds all that funny. TJ likes that Johnny hides behind Aviv. And that's just like why TJ's the man, because he's like us. We find that those antics hilarious. And it gives us a full show.
TJ also, I think he has his select people that he actually really enjoys. Like Leroy,
Totally.
Johnny, even Cara. You know, they had a little back and forth thing at the
Yeah.
challenge. Yeah, so that was funny too. It's just good to see them interact a little more, and I think you see it more in All Stars because they're an older cast. I think he interacts a little bit more with them, but still fun to see.
I like the seasons where, like, whenever he comes to the house to say tomorrow, be prepared and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When he used to do that, because you could see a little more of the interaction with him in the cast, or even when TJ shows up to the house unannounced because drama happened, and you're like, oh shit, if TJ's here, it's going down. Somebody's going home, and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're doing it's maybe it's not the part of this game, but when they do that, I find it fun.
I also feel like there hasn't been enough drama, like to where TJ actually comes in anymore. I feel like they maybe cut that part out or maybe they just stopped a lot of that with security on site. But you don't
TJ
see
probably
TJ.
said, "Don't interrupt me and my wife. We're hanging out. We're relaxing.
Yeah.
Don't bother me at my damn hotel for this shit."
Yeah, I could see that. And also, I think he just does it now in the challenges now. Like when the next challenge they go to, he just says, "You guys know you shouldn't do that. You go home. You go."
Yeah. But even the ones where he would just go there to announce, be ready, tomorrow it's going to be, and he drops like little hints. And maybe they found that just like takes up more time from other stuff. But I think it just shows we all love TJ. So, you know, don't sacrifice his airtime for something else. Like,
And he used to come in and take the nominations, right? Like if they voted, who do you guys vote for?
Yeah.
And this, that, but I think
Yeah.
they opted out of that. And just a side note, I don't see them showing as much sex as they.
What the fuck? This is
Like-
not like
But no,
exotica.
But I'm saying the initial allure of the challenge was drama, sex, chaos, fighting, and then a little bit of challenges, right? But I
I
feel
guess
like
if
they
you
kind
had
of.
dick. I mean, like it was not. That was
Stop
never a thing
it.
for me.
Stop it.
It was never a thing
America
for
fell in love
me.
with CT because of all the ass he was crushing on a challenge. They fell in love with
Oh.
all, like, stop. It's not just the dudes.
Yeah, that would be a
It
good
was not-
question.
it
Are we
was not-
missing sex in the challenge? I don't know why we had to.
I
do
think part of it
that.
is like it is Challenge 40 where they brought back people at different points in their lives. So,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Era 1, they're all married, they're all booed up. So it is what it is. And a lot of the couples are going home. Spoiler alert. I think did we lose our last couple in the house this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that speaks to Victor's question a while ago. That's like, what does relationships like really do for you in the challenge?
Yeah, I would even say Theo was saying it himself that it made him complacent. And he was, you know, stagnant. He wasn't probably training as much. He's spending all his free time with Olivia. You know, his head wasn't in the game. And that's probably also what cost him I mean, I'm sure he focused, but I think by that point it was too late.
Yeah. But even though I think there were a decent enough amount of new relationships in this house, and they did kind of scale back, you know, the hot and steamy stuff between Devin and Michelle, Olivia and Theo, Brad and Emily. Like they showed it once and then like they never showed it again. And it's like, it's fun, but I think it's also just the cast. When they go back to a cast that's younger, newer, and they're all excited, and they don't know that playing the game boot up is not a good idea, then it'll provide a little bit more. So
back to elimination.
did y'all like it?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, I think like combining speed, endurance, and then luck, which is something you can't really control, was pretty brilliant. Because yeah, you can be fast and you could like go through all the polls, but like if you don't get the right card, then that could totally throw your game off. So I do like those type of challenges that test your, I guess, mental, like your ability to adapt to your circumstances. Yeah, so yeah, I enjoyed it. It was cool.
Yeah, I think luck played a huge role in this game, and they say luck favors the bold. When being a champion is also about having luck on your side, and Johnny had it. He had a lot of cards where his only real answer was to go lower, and that gave him a big advantage.
Did you guys like that aspect of the high-low part of it? Because at first I was just like, why don't you just make it whoever gets through the tube first and gets to their circle is the one that wins the advantage for that round. Being that it was Theo had a little bit of a disadvantage being a bigger guy, the high-low probably helped him a little bit. But there's other challenges that doesn't matter. If you're the bigger person, smaller person, faster, they don't care. You do it or you lose. But in this one, it did seem to even it up. But I was just like, part of me was like, it's fun because it's like gambling. And the other part of me was just like, no, just make it the physical race. Like, get through the tube first and you get the advantage the next round.
For me, it was needed because it creates this element of, which I love that Devin does amazingly, is this like psychological warfare. So it's like, yeah, you can make it through the tube and you can get through all these things. But once you get to the cards, it's like, are you going to be bold or are you going to play it safe? And that really speaks to your mindset and your personality. So I think like, I don't know, there's just a lot to say about the choices that they make when they choose the high or the low. And maybe I'm reading like too deep into it, but it does create an element for me of this psychology aspect that I really enjoy.
In the end, I really liked it. And it was just, I was impressed. Theo did very good, in my opinion, for his size. So it was a good challenge, I think. But
yeah,
all right, we can lend
competitive till the end.
So at that point, then we know Johnny wins, and he gets to pull his targets. And once again, he cannot put Tori down.
On. Before that, while they were doing the challenge, we get a hissy fit.
Yeah.
We get a hissy fit of large proportions. Raquel and I posed this on the instant reaction. Who is more annoying in that situation? Because I don't think there's a winner there. They're both like, get the fuck over yourself. Who did you guys think was more annoying in this squabble between Josh and Michelle?
Oh, we already know who Victor's going to say.
You'd be surprised. I'm actually going to go with Josh. Josh was annoying. Josh was hella annoying. I'm rooting for both of them, Michelle. Gosh. You sound like freaking Napoleon.
Even though he was clearly just rooting for Bananas for a while.
Yeah.
Like, he heard Josh over and over.
I think he
and
might
then
have
he's like,
whispered
good job,
Theo.
guy.
Like once.
No, I think it's like, good job, Bananas. Good. And then he's like, good job, guys. Yeah, Bananas. Yeah, you got this, Banana.
Yeah.
It was clearly...
Clearly he wanted Johnny to know that he was rooting for him and to maybe mend the fence that he broke early on in the season for, not helping Bananas out. So I think Josh was the more annoying. I mean, Michelle's always annoying. She's always annoying. So Josh is just the more annoying one in this one. And then he had to do the walk away like, gosh, am I even doing this right now? Ugh. Like 5 seconds away from tearing up and crying and throwing a hissy fit. It's like drama queen of the challenge award. If we do an award at the end of the season, it has to go to Josh.
We're gonna have the Oscars, the challenge
Yeah.
Oscars, definitely. Nora, come on, like Michelle, why?
Why did she have to say anything? Just shut up. Like, I don't get what people don't get about Josh. We keep saying this every episode. Why are we still arguing with Josh about this shit? We already know he's flip-flopper Josh. Like, it's... Why? Why did she even say it? And shut up. Just because he wants to vote or cheer whoever he wants. He has a right to. But just shut up. I don't know. She annoys me always anyways, just like Josh. I don't know what it is about her. They're just like, both of them are very... like, it makes me just irritated when both of them talk.
But why'd she single out Josh? There's other people there going for Johnny. Why didn't you go out some of the angels? Why didn't you go at Jenny, who's just like, Johnny, do this?
Well, it's
Like,
because Josh was right next to her, and then also Josh is supposed to be on her team. So
Yeah, they're like part of
The
this
Vacation Alliance.
whole
since
vacation.
when? She's not even in the Vacation Alliance.
No,
she just
she's
fucked
not,
Devin.
but by,
No.
By proxy.
by by association.
by insemination. Let's go. Get out of here. Josh don't have to respect that.
I don't know. She's definitely the most obnoxious because I've said this over and over again. Josh has never been secretive about his strategy. He's friends with everybody. Mm-hmm. He will backstab you no matter, like, he doesn't give a fuck, you know? For, what's her name, Michelle, to be all offended because he's rooting on both of them. Why is that surprising?
Just
First
like
of all, and
last
figure out
week.
if you're gonna wear lace or denim. Let's start there.
Oh, shit. Damn.
Let's start there. That's
Talk
all I'll
about
say.
it.
She has her own fashion crisis she's trying to solve. Worry about that, girl.
Horrible.
Oh man, maybe Laurel lifted her jeans so she can create tops out of them.
Maybe.
I'm gonna say something real fucked up, but like she is squeezing the shit out of that denim thing to like make her boobs really, and it's like it's not working. Let it go. Just let it go.
No.
It's okay.
Or win a challenge, and then you can get the
Pay
same
him
thing
up.
that.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's exactly
All
what
the
I
rest
was
of
saying.
it.
Ashley, right? Ashley got it right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, go visit Olivia's doctor or something.
Or Jenny's.
Or
Um,
Jenny.
I don't know. If
No,
you
don't
wanna
go visit Jenny's.
I was gonna say
Not
not,
the best
Jenny's.
I was gonna say, speaking of Jenny, just second week in a row where Michelle calls other people out who are not playing her game, and it's just like you said, obnoxious. Like, so she went at Jenny is like, I can't believe what you said. We're all trying to be, cool here, and you're, calling me out. It's just like, dude, you guys never had Jenny's back, so shut up. And now this week is like, you cheering for Johnny, he's going directly against my game.
Okay.
It's like,
I'm not playing your game, girl. The fuck?
yes, because me cheering for him now is going to give him the extra power to come back and call you out. Like, stop it. Just stop. Get over yourself. So Theo takes the L here. Him and Olivia share a tender moment. Fortunately, he's going home. And how does that affect our standings?
I'm glad you asked.
I have no team.
Oh yeah, that's sad for you. Points.
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 No, you
Points.
too. We're gonna
Points.
keep going. Points.
Ballers, I put numbers on the boards.
All right, welcome one, welcome all to the Matches in Mayhem League standings. The rules of the game are simple. You get 5 points for daily challenge, 3 points for second place. Third place is 2 points. If you're voted in the bottom or elimination, you lose 2 points, and if you lose or go home, -3. +1 for everybody else who's safe. You get 1 point for hookups, 1 point for causing mayhem. You lose a point for crying, like Josh, or talking about your kids. We don't do kids here. So, as it stands, Kylan and Tori both get 5 points for being first in the daily challenge. Second, Jordan and Rachel get 3 points. Third place, Corey and Jenny both get 2. Johnny lost 2 for going in. Nehemiah and Laurel both were purged for -5. And Theo was eliminated. So he loses 5 as well. Though he does get match points with Olivia for their smooches. And then he lost a point because he talked about his little son. Sorry, Theo. We still love you, though. So this is the standings currently. Sucks, but I don't know how this happened, I swear. But Raquel is running away with this thing right now at 105. Eric, I feel like you gained 1 point, right? 65. I can talk because I also gained 1 point at 36. And Nora lost 3 points. I mean, my heart really goes out to Nora right now because she is going through it. I think she's down to one person on her team, and that is Olivia. And
she's a target, so I won't have a team. And she's
a target, so we could see our first challenger with no team going into the final. I mean, but who knows? Olivia could clench it and win the game for you.
Or we could do a trade.
Yeah, I want to trade
Raquel's
Naya
trading you.
For... I want to trade
for
Naya
Aviv?
again. Yeah, for Aviv.
No, you lost that. You lost that one. That was your way to stay in.
Raquel, since you're not for women, Victor, can you show the squads for a second? The squads that are left.
Yeah.
Since you're not for women on your squad, do you maybe want to consider trading one of your guys for a dominant woman player?
You can take Corey.
I said dominant.
Okay, then no.
Not dormant.
Oh. Bro. Okay. No.
Listen,
I stand for
Kylan for Rachel.
No. Hell no.
Eric, are you open to trading Jenny for Michelle?
No, I need dudes.
Okay.
Pause.
No judgment.
Hey, you. You know, Raquel's hoarding the guys over there. I'm being cucked right now. She has all the dudes on her team that are left, and yeah, so.
You have a very strong team. Minus Derek, you have a very strong team.
Wow, Derek is skating by on costumes and wigs.
He told us. We know this. Yeah.
All right, no trades.
No trades. I'm
Trade floor is closed.
For the audience.
One last note. Karma vote. The karma vote that we saw. I think Laurel. Is actively.
About Johnny.
Well, they seemed like Johnny and her were on teams, and then her karma vote, she gave him. I think it was a 1.
Yeah, it was fucked up. You guys were in an alliance the whole season. Now it's just like, I'm gonna give him a 1.
Yeah, and Johnny was defending her. I see Johnny defending her offline a lot too, in a lot of things, and to see that, I was like, damn, Johnny, she's not the one.
I felt like after that happened, did that mean Laurel's not coming back? Like, was that her way of saying, like, see, I'm not really coming back, so it doesn't matter what I say. I'm not going to come back for any more seasons?
I could see her retiring. I could see her being like, fuck it. In her mind, she's scared, I guess. She's like, I can't do this anymore. But I think she could be done.
Let's see if we see Laurel in them jeans again.
Reunion's going to be fun.
God, if she wears those jeans on a reunion.
She's going to wear them. I have a question for our listeners. Well, I have 2 questions for our listeners. One, who was the real MVP of this Purge episode? Was it Laurel for just like standing her ground and like staying true to her narrative and deucing? Who was the real MVP? And 2, if you could bring Nehemiah back, would you bring him back? I would say yes. He deserves to be here. He didn't quit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yep. Send home bananas. Bring back Nehemiah.
Whoa. Okay. No.
Nah,
That's
send
not
Josh
at
home.
all. That's
Send
not at
the
all what I
crybaby
said.
home.
He didn't even cry. He didn't cry.
Oh, he cried. They just didn't show
This
it.
episode?
Oh, he definitely cried. After Michelle yelled at him, he definitely went in the corner and cried his eyes out.
I can't
What?
even.
I can't even.
But I can't.
I'm done. All right, y'all.
I'm sorry. I upset you.
I'm waiting
Bye.
for the day Victor
Bye.
and Josh have their
Bye.
kumbaya moment.
Never.
There you go.
Josh and I will never, ever have a kumbaya moment.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya.
Got him. We fucking got him.
Bye.
Bye.